Imagine for a moment that some of the world's smartest scientists, the very minds we trust for truth and understanding, were duped. One man managed to fool them all, with astonishing precision and brilliance. So how did he do it? And more importantly, why didn't they see it coming? In today's video, we're taking a journey through one of the greatest deceptions in scientific history. This story reveals the power of belief, the fragility of knowledge, and the lengths one person can go to manipulate reality. Stick around, because you won't believe how deep this deception goes. And hey, before we get started, hit that like button and subscribe if you're as intrigued by mysteries like this one as we are. Let's dive in. Our story starts with a man whose brilliance was only matched by his audacity. He was charming, smart, and incredibly persuasive, the perfect combination to pull off an unprecedented feat. This wasn't just any regular person. He was well-versed in science, familiar with academia, and understood exactly how the system worked. But instead of contributing to the world of knowledge, he chose a different path. He began presenting his research, claiming to have made groundbreaking discoveries that could change everything we thought we knew. These findings started drawing attention, and soon, even the world's top scientists were intrigued. His theories were revolutionary, and his results, well, they seemed almost too good to be true. And maybe that should have been a warning sign. Yet, no one questioned him. His work was published, reviewed, and praised by respected experts in the field. Everyone was convinced he was the real deal. But why? Why did no one suspect a thing? Think about this. If someone presented incredible evidence in a highly respected journal, would you question it? Or would you trust that the scientific community had already vetted it? Let's break down how he managed to fool some of the brightest minds on the planet. First, he exploited one of the most fundamental aspects of science trust. In academia, it's standard for research to be published in peer-reviewed journals, where experts review and validate studies before they're publicly shared. He used this system to his advantage by carefully crafting results that seemed legitimate and were nearly impossible to disprove. His experiments were designed to be just complex enough that only a few people could understand them, a perfect camouflage. But he didn't stop there. He strategically networked with key figures in his field, gaining endorsements from people who had reputations of their own to protect. This added credibility to his work and made it even harder for anyone to call him out. Imagine the pressure on a scientist who thinks, if I question this research and I'm wrong, it could ruin my reputation. The fear of going against the grain in science is real, and our deceiver knew this all too well. As he presented more evidence and gained more followers, his influence grew. Suddenly, the community wasn't just accepting his research, they were defending it. They became unwitting allies in his web of deception, rallying around his work with full conviction. Let me know in the comments. Would you trust revolutionary research without double-checking it? Or do you think you'd be suspicious? Section 4. Impact on the scientific community. The deception started to unravel in subtle ways, but by then, the damage was already done. Many scientists had already incorporated his findings into their own research. Imagine the ripple effect. Entire studies were based on this fabricated data, meaning that years of research, millions of dollars in funding, and countless careers were built on a lie. In time, younger researchers began to question his results as they delved deeper into their own studies. The cracks in his theory started showing up, and some brave voices started raising questions. But even then, the established figures who had endorsed him were reluctant to admit they'd been wrong. The scientific community is built on reputation and credibility, and nobody wanted to accept they'd been duped. Eventually, as more evidence emerged against his work, he could no longer keep up the facade. One by one, his findings were discredited, and scientists began to feel the weight of how much damage had been done. Section 5. Revelation and Aftermath. When the truth finally came to light, it was a shockwave that hit the entire scientific world. His deception wasn't just a stain on his name, it shook the trust in the entire system. Skepticism grew, funding was harder to secure, and peer review processes became even stricter. For some, this event was a reminder of the importance of humility and skepticism, even in science. For others, it was a betrayal. Many scientists felt a personal sting, realizing that years of their work, their hopes, and their reputations had been undermined by one man's ambition. And while this incident led to tighter regulations, it also left a scar on the scientific community. So what do you think? Is there ever a place for deception in science if it leads to positive changes in protocol? Or should we strive to prevent these events at all costs? Section 6. Conclusion and viewer engagement. This story reminds us that even the greatest minds can be deceived, and it shows just how powerful belief and persuasion can be. The scientific process is always evolving, learning from mistakes, and this incident is just one of the countless lessons in its long history. Thanks for watching till the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know if there's another mysterious story you'd like us to cover. See you in the next one.